2021 was a year where I saw lots of growth, lots of changes, and found it to be extremely hard. So stick around for my evaluation of how I did with my 2021 annual goals. Hi, this is Katie from Crafting Ruby Dreams, and welcome to my channel where I talk about planners, goal setting, writing, publishing, and getting right with my finances. For 2021, I used the MäksēLife Goal Setting Planner. I chose the cover by Jess Park that I really, really loved. I'd also gotten the cover by Call Me Thobes, which it was very, very pretty, but I actually ended up never switching out the covers, but I'm glad that I do have it for future use if I so choose. 2021 was also the first year that I ever used the MäksēLife system. I had seen friends switching to it in mid-2020, right around the time I got involved in the greater planner community, and I had just bought a bunch of Erin Condren products. So I wasn't in a financial place that I was comfortable buying a whole new planner, and I was intrigued by it, but I was also like, I need to wait. And so when the 2021 planners became available, I was ready to switch over because I also knew at that point in time that I needed something more than what I was already doing in terms of goal setting to move forward with my life. I was still in a place of burnout. I wasn't as settled within myself as I could have been, and I just knew I needed something more, so I switched over to MäksēLife, and I worked through all of the introductory work, and it was really wonderful, especially the videos that are up on the MäksēLife YouTube channel where you can go and look at that now, and that's useful from year to year because it's the same system. I ended up filling out all of my goals for all 8 areas of life, though I will say, as a spoiler alert, that I didn't fully define a couple of those goals, and I'm okay with that. The word of the year that I chose for myself was create, because I was really focused on creating a life that I really wanted to be living and get back into creating, namely books and writing, because I was in such bad burnout and it was just something I desired so badly. So it was to be a motivational word of the year for me. I think I did a really good job with it. I didn't fully get back into writing, which again, I'll get into a little later, but there was a lot of stuff that I did create. It was a really good word of the year for me. So let's just dive into it with the individual areas of life per the MäksēLife system, and I will just go through them and break them down. First up is the personal area of life. My focus statement for this was create joy. I created focus statements for each area of life with create whatever as the specific focus statement for that area. So I had set as a progress goal to write 1 to 2 novels. What I also did with this, I don't know if you can see it, is that I put little hearts next to the various goals that I thought could easily cross over into other areas of life. And so this particular goal also crossed over into work and learning, because for me, I consider writing a work activity in that I am writing to publish and make money from it. But at the same time, this was something that I was really trying to focus in specifically for myself because it was something that's very personal to me. I didn't know whether or not what I was planning on writing, which honestly, I wasn't planning anything specific. I just wanted to write, would be publishable. So that's the reason why I put it in personal. I didn't do well with it. I never finished any projects. I am okay with that because all of this personal development that I did over the course of the year helped me realize reasons why I was having trouble with it. But I also want to say that I did write over the course of the year. I dipped my toe into various projects and I totaled them up, and I had about 18,000 words written of fiction over the course of the year. I am okay with that because that is progress for me. Now, I'd very much like to finish a project in 2022, but the fact that I made progress in writing fiction again and trying to figure out what worked for me, what didn't, and what stories caught my attention and why, that is progress. I have 2 maintenance goals for the personal area of life. So I got my planner right here. That's why I'm reading and looking down. Dedicate time each week to reflect on the lessons learned from the previous week and set intentions for the coming week. This was specifically planning related, to kind of hold myself accountable to the goal setting and planning process. And overall, I think I did really well. two thumbs up. There were weeks that I didn't, and mainly I was so overcome and overwhelmed those weeks with things that were going on, mainly moving related, and that is coming up. And the second maintenance goal for the personal area of life was to allow myself space to not meet intentions for whatever reason. I was smart with myself when I set that goal. So again, 2 thumbs up. Fun and recreation. The focus statement for this was to create wonder. Progress goal was to take at least 1 long weekend solo vacation, and I crossed this over with the financial area of life. This did not happen, mainly because I ended up living with my family for a lot longer than expected. I was originally only supposed to be at home in Chicago for about 6 weeks back in 2020, between a little bit before Thanksgiving and New Year's, and then come back to DC. I was there until Labor Day weekend, so 9.5 months roughly. So yeah, solo vacation didn't happen. And that's okay, because there were so much other things going on. I probably really could have used a long weekend solo vacation in terms of rest and relaxation, but that's one of the reasons why that's a focus for me for my 2022 goals, as you may remember. I also had another progress. In fact, all of the goals in the fun and recreation area of life were progress goals. This one was identify 5 money-free activities that bring me joy. And again, this crossed over with the financial area of life. You would think 5 would be easy to come up with. I started that list, but I never finished. This is something that I probably should put on as a task for 2022, but I'm glad I at least started thinking about it. Again, I got overwhelmed with moving related things. The final progress goal for the fun and recreation area of life is determine how much time I want to spend on family, conferences, and vacation personal time. Again, this was something I thought about and gave consideration to, but I never finalized it. And again, I'm okay with that. So both of those last 2 progress, For the work and learning area of life, my focus statement was create growth. Again, like fun and recreation, I had 3 progress goals for this area of life. The first was to identify strategies for building alternative streams of income, and obviously, this crosses over with the financial area of life. Overall, I think this got a check mark. I could have been a bit more specific with this goal, but as this was my first time using this system, and also I knew SMART goals were not necessarily a good method of goal setting for me. I've gotten better at figuring out what a good method is for me. I'm okay with checking this particular goal off because I have identified some potential streams of income, like affiliate marketing. So if you click on any of the affiliate links in my descriptions, such as links to Amazon, links to Bookshop, links to the HB90 Bootcamp, links to MäksēLife, because I am an affiliate for all of those things, that provides me with some additional income. It's not a lot. It's a varying percentages depending on the program. Some do pay better than others, but I have made some income from those affiliate streams, and I thank you very much for your support of me and my channel. The next progress goal for the work and learning area of life is to rediscover love for fiction writing in order to publish. And this crosses over with the personal area of life. I gave this a, I think mainly because I didn't complete a project, but like I said, I made progress in that I started writing again, but I am getting there. I have figured out some like really core things that were kind of like stopping me from finishing, and I was doing that in like the last month of the year. I figured out a couple of key points that I think are really helping me unlock that particular goal at the start of 2022. So definitely significant progress was made with that particular goal, and I'm pleased with it. The next progress goal was to identify a continuing education plan to support my day job, writing, and crafting Ruby dreams. Again, not as much progress made as with the previous goal, because I have ideas for things I want to do for each of those particular areas of work, but I haven't come up with a very specific plan. So I need to probably spend some time this year at some point figuring out, okay, what courses have I signed up for in the last 18 months? Which ones I have started but not completed? Which ones I haven't even started in the first place? And which ones that I want to do. So we will see how this plays out over 2022 and beyond. For the family and relationships area of life, my focus statement was create memories. And this was the squishiest goal of them all. I will fully admit, this was a progress goal. And it was identify goals for the relationships I have and want to have. And I gave it a because that's so squishy. This is where specificity, I think, really comes into play when setting your goals, because part of it is that I feel so secure in a lot of the relationships that I have that I have trouble defining what kinds of goals I want to place on this area of life. I need to give more thought to that particular thing. And you may remember from the 2022 annual goals video that I said even in there, I'm like, I'm feeling good here. And so this is my lowest priority area of life. And that was kind of true with 2021 as well. And part of that, honestly, was the fact that at the time I wrote these goals, I was still at home in Chicago. It was in the first phase of me being at home, and I was expecting to come back to DC soon, and I ended up not. So it became less and less of a priority for me through the course of the year because I was spending so much time with my immediate family. So it was just kind of squishy. Let's just say that, squishy. Okay, the more I say that, the worse that sounds. All right, moving on. Health and wellness. And you can see the first of my stretch goals. The focus statement for health and wellness was create resilience. And my stretch goal for this was to develop a regular exercise routine. Yeah. I made some progress on this in that once I got back to DC, I was able to have access to my under-desk elliptical again, which I really like. I try to do 5 minutes a day on that every work day. I really need to start making that a really good habit. I know part of the reason why this didn't get as far as I wanted it to was because I didn't realize when I wrote this goal that I was having the beginnings of a plantar fasciitis flare-up, a really bad flare-up. I ended up in March, that's when I finally got treatment for it, but I ended up having to get a steroid shot in my heel in order to address the issue. So when you have significant and debilitating pain of any kind, but especially in your feet, that makes the thought of exercise really not happy making at all. So that's a lot of why I ended up it became a thing that I had a barrier because of pain issues. And now that I recognize that and I have some other things going on, I feel better mentally equipped to address this goal because this is another annual goal for me in 2022. Not a stretch goal, but a goal. The other two goals for me in the health and wellness area of life were both maintenance goals. The first one was to continue therapy, and I continued therapy through all of 2021. I'm really pleased with that. I had a really good therapist. We ended up having to break up due to licensing issues and teletherapy, in that I was not going to be in Maryland where she was licensed, and therefore she could not treat me any further after the end of the year. But we had a really, really productive time and I feel well equipped. I'm currently on break from therapy, but I feel well equipped to deal with any issues that crop up at the time for the time being. And I feel really comfortable in reaching out when I need therapy again. I had really good experiences with my 2 therapists, and so I am comfortable enough with the process of seeking out therapy that when I am in need of therapy again, I will reach out. My next maintenance goal was to maintain routine dental and medical appointments, as well as vision. I should have put that in there too. I did that. As soon as I got back to DC, I made all of the appointments and used up some very serious sick leave that I hadn't really used over the course of the year. Spiritual and personal growth area of life. My focus statement was create exploration. I had 3 progress goals for this area of life as well. The first was to identify my core values. I would say that I made some progress on this, but I would not say that I fully completed it. I also kind of think that particular goal, that's something you're constantly evaluating as you grow and change, and your values may change. So the fact that I made some progress, I'm comfortable with, but I want to dig a little bit deeper into it. My next progress goal was to learn more about my CliftonStrengths, and I actually crossed this over with work and learning because of the fact that I work with a coaching group that focuses on writers and other creatives, and this got a big old check mark of completion because I have certainly learned more about my CliftonStrengths and myself. I have done group coaching throughout the course of the year. I attended a conference put on by the coaching group, and done some other work with friends who are also getting coached by the same group, and it's just been a really wonderful experience for me. My third progress goal for this area of life is to align my goals and practices with my core values. And this, again, squishy. Going back to the fact that I hadn't fully defined my core values. So the fact that I hadn't done that first bit meant that I couldn't fully do the alignment. But at the same time, I gave a lot of thought to it, and so I'm comfortable with giving it I made some progress. The financial area of life contains my second stretch goal, but first, my focus statement for this was create abundance, because that is a mindset thing that I need to work on for myself, and it helped a little bit. We're getting there. And my stretch goal for this area of life is to address my limiting beliefs surrounding money and wealth. I did some work on this with my therapist in therapy, and I feel comfortable by saying I made some progress. And I feel comfortable saying check mark because I did address it. I wouldn't say that I am fully past all of my limiting beliefs at all, but the goal said address, and I did address them, and I'm still working on them. So this is something I want to continue doing as well. This is the area of life where I had more than 3 goals, but that is because I stuck 2 maintenance goals under my third goal. The other 2 main goals for this area of life were both progress goals. The first was to spend less than my income. I made some progress. I have not done the final tally for all months, so I don't know what the actual final tally is, but I do feel better with what my financial state is at the end of 2021 than I did at the end of 2020. My third main goal for this area of life was to reduce my debt load. And yeah, I did. I didn't make as much progress as I would have liked, but I did reduce it overall. And the 2 maintenance sub goals that I had for this was to knit primarily from my stash. I don't know how to score this because I ended up not knitting at all in 2021. So that's an interesting thing for me, but that's something I'm addressing in 2022. The other one was that I wanted to plan primarily from my stash, with at least 50% of my planning being done from stash and preferably 75% being done from stash. Again, I ended up going to basically pen and marker, but at the same time I kept buying planning stash stuff, so didn't do that great on that particular goal, but I'm working on it and I've got some ideas for 2022. Oh, I also do want to point out that those particular sub goals, I linked back to my personal area of life because those were both things that I do for myself as an individual person, knitting and planning. All right, physical area of life. This was where my biggest stretch goal lived, as well as the cause of the most upheaval in my life through the course of 2021 beyond Panini. So the focus statement for this area of life was create peace. I was not my best self in any way, shape, or form living in my previous apartment. It was too small for me. I was also dealing with some beginning hoarding issues, overbuying of things, and there was just a lot of stuff that mentally it was not a good place for me. I needed to get out of there. The one thing I do regret about moving out of there is the fact that I had been living in the same building as my best friend, so I missed the easy access to seeing her. But otherwise, I am very happy in my current place, even with as messy as it currently is, which I will be addressing this weekend after I edit and post this video. So wish me luck. But my big stretch goal was to move apartments, and I did. As you can see, I am so pleased with being in this space. I can't even begin to, I'm getting very emotional right now, and I need to not, because I've got more stuff I need to do today. But it was one of the best things I did for myself in 2021. It really was. And because moving is such a financial load, frankly, this crossed over into the financial area of life. A progress goal that I had for this area of life is to significantly reduce clutter in order to reduce the mental weight of my belongings. And a lot of this really had to do with the beginning hoarding issues that I was having back in my old place. And with the help of my mom and my sister, when I was moving out of the old place, I said at the time, and I still think that this is true, that we got rid of about a third to a half of what I had in that apartment. It was amazing. There was so much stuff that I got rid of. There was a woman who ran the dry cleaners in my old building who I was friendly with, and I, oh my goodness. I mentioned to her that I was moving out, and she said if I had anything to get rid of, that she would be happy to take it for her church. And I was like, are you sure? How much can you handle? She's like, anything you've got. She had no idea. And then I also had a maintenance goal for this area of life, and that was create and maintain a cleaning schedule that supports a physically and mentally healthy living environment. I would say some progress because I have given some thought to it. I have worked on figuring out what's right for me and my current living situation, both where I live, period, as well as what the greater public health situation is around me. So one of the things I would love to do is hire a cleaner. I'm just not at that point, mainly for the public health situation, and I don't feel comfortable bringing somebody else in, mainly because I'm working from home all the time. So I'm pretty much here all the time unless I'm out running errands, and I'm just not quite sure how to handle that at this point in time. That's also a financial thing that I need to really truly sit down and get a good handle on what my monthly finances are and figure out what the cost of a monthly cleaner would be and go forward from there. So those were my 2021 goals in the MäksēLife planner. Overall, I would give them, I think I did good. Honestly, with everything that was going on, public health wise, personal wise, with the complete upheaval, and I didn't know exactly how long I would be living with my family in Chicago, and that caused some issues because I didn't know how long we would have the ability to do what they were calling distance telework. I didn't know how long I'd be able to stay, when I would need to get a new apartment. It was just a mess for future thinking planner people. But I survived it all. I was able to get an apartment that I absolutely adore. I am living in a situation that is fabulous and perfect for me. My family is incredibly happy for me. I had a great time spending all of that time with my family. I was able to be there for pretty much everyone's birthdays except for like maybe one person in that time period, and it was so much fun. It really was. That being said, it was also incredibly rough. It was a very rough year. We had some medical issues in the extended family. We had some joyous news in the extended family that has carried over into this year. It was also rough for me because other than a short period of time when I first moved to DC, I had been living on my own for like 14 years when I first left Chicago. So it took some mental getting used to living with other people on a continual extended basis again. So it was just an interesting situation. But honestly, a lot of what 2021 taught me was how important having periods of rest and relaxation are necessary for me. Not just wanted, but necessary and absolutely needed. I did not have a true vacation away from work and quiet time where I wasn't focused on something else until this past Christmas to New Year's break. Pretty much every other vacation I took for the entire year was focused on the move or something I had to worry about work. Like I was home over Thanksgiving and I had some days off in there, but I was working the entire second week that I was there. So there was always work in the background for me. That's why I refused to take my work laptop with me home for Christmas, which made the travel situation coming back interesting since my flight got delayed twice. I look back on 2021 and I see it for a period that was both illuminating for me personally as well as just 2021 public health wise, yeah, think of all the swears, picture me saying them, just yeah. But yay vaccines. I have got both my vaccines and my booster shot, and I'm so pleased, and I recommend that if you are medically able to, please do. Please go get vaccinated if you can. I don't know quite how to end this other than to say thank you. Something I didn't talk about with 2021 was the growth, the incredible growth that I have seen with this channel, and I am just blown away. I am amazed, and I'm getting teary again because I'm just so thankful to have all of you here and welcoming me into your lives through subscribing, through watching my videos, through commenting, through sharing them. It means so much to me. It really, truly does. And I am at a loss for words to tell you the depth of how this is making me feel. So thank you so much for your continued support. I look forward to bringing you more content in 2022, and I just wish you the best. And so thank you for joining me on the ride that was 2021, and I just wish that all your dreams are Ruby dreams. Bye-bye.